Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your May 2024 general reading. We are looking at the last half of May, roughly the last 2 weeks of May. So these are the mid-month readings. And this reading is for our beautiful bulls, the earth sign of Taurus. I hope everyone's doing well. You are most welcome here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the videos that we all put out here. So Taurus. If your sun, moon, rising, or Venus sign is in Taurus, this video is for you. If you're cross-watching for a Taurus, this video is also relevant. It's a general reading, of course, so it may resonate just a little differently for everyone who watches. If you know any or all of your other sign placements, sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, watch those as well because they can provide additional insight and perspective and a little bit more clarity into what's going on in your own personal situation. And if you find that something really hits home, it really resonates, and you'd like to perhaps take a deeper look at something, or you simply like the reading style, if you're interested in a personal reading with me for yourself or as a gift for someone else, please feel free to email me directly, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you, and I can usually respond within 24 hours with more information. I do offer quite a wide variety of readings in all areas of life of all different types, lengths, styles, budgets. I try to put a little something for everyone in there. And I'm pretty diligent about timely scheduling too. So if you're interested, please email me at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. You can see that contact info by clicking the description of this video. All right, Taurus, let's see what the last half of May 2024 looks like for you. I am using the Royal Deluxe Tarot and clarifying with the the Gilded Tarot, both by Cyril Marchetti. We begin with the Five of Swords. A hard-won victory. It might come at a high cost. It might be winning versus ego. With that, we have the Fool. The very first major arcana card in the tarot. It represents a brand new cycle starting. Stepping out of your comfort zone. Starting over. Feels like this might be a bit of an unhealthy pattern, but let's see. Next, we have the Devil. Unhealthy or toxic energies, unhealthy or toxic behavior patterns, cycles, addictions, habits or patterns or cycles that are not good for us, but there's a tempting element in it. With the Hanging Man, it's interesting. These are two kind of very oppositional energies. The Devil is about our desires, our pleasures, our wants, our addictions, our obsessions, our habits. It's all about feeding ourselves, right? And the Hanging Man is all about temporary self-sacrifice and letting go. It feels like there's a bit of a struggle here. It feels like the struggle is in breaking a cycle, a pattern. I mean, for some of you, now this can be you or this can be somebody close to you. Now, for some people, it might be an actual addiction like drugs, alcohol, gambling, shopping, whatever. But this is also, an unhealthy way of thinking or an unhealthy way of coping or dealing with things. Right now, what I'm kind of picking up here, Taurus, is you or somebody else having a pattern, some of you, of cutting and running when things get messy. It's like, oh my gosh, everything's a mess. And even though we almost always have our responsibility in the messes that happen in our lives, there's usually some responsibility for us too. It's about when it gets messy to leave and start over again. But a cycle of this, an unhealthy cycle of this, cutting and running. Not wanting to do what it takes to learn to fix things, to kind of grow from it before moving on. Just kind of like, oh, it's a mess, it's time to leave. oh, now there's another mess over here, so now it's time to leave again. Again, this can be you, it can be somebody close to you, or some version of that. It feels very much like somebody's trying to make a cycle, break a cycle, and it may be that you need a new beginning. I mean, it may be that you need to start over again or move or something of that sort. But it's a question of maybe not burning bridges the same way you used to. I don't know. Let's keep going. Now we have the Eight of Wands, which is movement, action, communication, travel, things moving very decisively and very swiftly. With the Nine of Swords, even though there's a lot of fear and unknown about the future, fear, stress, anxiety, fear of the unknown, and kind of perhaps dwelling a little too obsessively and a little too negatively, thinking, trying to kind of pre-write the script for the future with like the worst possible negative outcome. But it does feel like a lot of you are moving forward anyway, even though there's a lot of stress and anxiety about what the path in front of you may hold. From the bottom of the deck, the overall energy is justice, doing the right thing, reaping what you sow, doing the right thing, transparency, honesty, honor, morality, taking the high road. Again, some of you, I mean, there may need to be a brand new fresh start. For some of you, that may be moving or relocating, traveling. But I feel like somebody's got a habit of not taking responsibility for either the messes they make or the responsibility for their share of making the mess, wanting to blame it on somebody else because the need to be right so that you don't have to examine and therefore grow in ways that we're meant to grow and evolve. In growing and evolving, we take a look at things and go, wow, I shouldn't have done that, or wow, I could have done that differently or better, learning from that and moving forward. If you're always going from mess to mess, going blame, 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 you never grow because you're never willing to kind of sit down and kind of face those fears, doubts, insecurities, those parts of ourselves that we don't like to look at, let alone anybody else. Again, this can be you. It can be somebody close to you. This can be a job pattern, a relationship pattern, anything really. Let's take a look at justice. On a basic level, justice is about getting what we deserve based on our actions. So the cautionary advice with justice is be as honest, forthright as possible. Strength, the Chariot. Strength is facing those fears, those doubts, those insecurities, taking responsibility and accountability for yourself, which might be, always challenging to look at the parts of ourselves that we don't like or we don't like to admit to. Yeah. Okay. Five of Swords and the Fool. Knight of Wands, Seven of Swords, Three of Wands. Yeah, this energy is like, again, kind of, there's a sense of cutting and running here in the hopes that the future is going to be better somewhere else. It's like the grass is always greener. Let's take a look at the Devil and the Hanging Man. This feels like a kind of a psychologically complex issue here. Starting over, but taking the same old habits and the same old patterns of thinking, the way of thinking, the same old ideologies with you. So the same thing keeps happening over and over again. And each time it does and it turns into a big mess, somebody's always leaving and going, well, I need to start over here. But the thing is that if they're not willing to self-examine what part they had to play in creating the mess or the conflict, then they can't grow, and they'll repeat the cycle wherever they go. I mean, there's this saying, wherever you go, there you are, right? In order to learn, in order to do better, we have to self-examine. We have to take a look at the times and the parts where we didn't do so well, so that we can learn from that moving over. And that requires a certain level of honesty and humility as well. The Devil and the Hanging Man. But I feel like somebody's really trying to kind of break free from that and do the right thing. But old patterns die hard. They're difficult, right? We have to be vigilant. The Devil is clarified by the Devil. The Six of Wands, victory, triumph, success, ego, and elevation, and justice. This is somebody who wants to be right all of the time. They want to leave every situation going, I'm leaving because I can't do this anymore, because you, them, the other people, and going on to something else, because as long as they're right, then they don't have to self-examine, right? They don't have to take responsibility or accountability. But the problem with that is if you don't self-examine and take responsibility and accountability where it needs to be taken, then you can't learn. And every time you start over, it's going to always end up the same way again. I mean, don't shoot the messenger. I think we've all had our habits and patterns that are difficult to break. But again, for some of you, this can be somebody close to you, and you kind of just being sort of involved in it. Let's take a look at the Eight of Wands and the Nine of Swords. I actually like this energy, even though I don't really care for the Nine of Swords, because it's a card of negatively and obsessively worrying about an unknown future, but it's only clarifying it. It's the secondary card to the Eight of Wands, which is moving forward very quickly and very rapidly. Some of you may be doing a do-over or moving or, starting over in some way, and it may be necessary as long as you take the lessons learned with you from what you're leaving. Some of you may be already making plans for this, but wondering if you're doing the right thing. Eight of Wands, Nine of Swords. Oh, yep. King of Pentacles, that's you. The Hermit, learning from your lessons. That's good. Ace of Swords, the Epiphany, seeing the truth, illumination. I love seeing these two cards because this is learning from our experiences and applying those lessons moving forward so that we don't make the same mistakes again. Breaking old patterns, all of that kind of stuff. With the Nine of Swords is the Fool again. Yeah, fear of the unknown, fear of stepping out of your comfort zone, fear of starting over, fear of messing up again. That's what I'm getting. It feels like this has been kind of challenging and difficult, as all struggles are when we're trying to improve ourselves, when we're trying to do better for ourselves, for the people around us, the people we love and care about, trying to break habits, trying to break cycles, patterns, behaviors, ways of thinking that usually come from trying to protect ourselves from something in the past but no longer serve us, and in fact are unhealthy or even toxic for ourselves and for the people that we love and care about, who love and care about us. So this whole reading kind of has this sense of trying to break that and trying to have the strength and courage and humility to look at the parts of ourselves that we don't like to admit to, so that we can change them moving forward. You can't, clean out all the dirty corners and the shadowy corners and under the bed unless you pull everything off and expose it so you can get to it, right? It's kind of like that. So let's end with some advice, guidance, feedback from Spirit. This is a growth period. What you do or don't do during this time period can really, it can promote growth. It can really be kind of a leveling up process. More growth, more maturity, more wisdom. Yeah, death, endings and transformations. It's time for rebirth. It's time for transformation. Seven of Cups. There are multiple options and opportunities out there Focus on the possibility and potential and move towards that. The Ten of Swords. The challenging end of seeing something or looking at something the way that it was. This is the death of old ideas, an old way of believing, old habits, old patterns as well. Ace of Pentacles and Seven of Pentacles, a new beginning, perhaps a practical new beginning, moving, relocating, new job, a combination of all of those things, and taking a look at what you have to gain and what you have to lose, and being very smart and very practical moving forward. All right, Taurus, I am going to leave it there. Those are your messages for the last half of May 2024. I hope that for those of you for whom it resonated, that it was helpful, that it was clarifying, perhaps even validating, or at the very least, gave you something to think about. Again, if you'd like to peel it back, take a deeper dive on it, or you simply like the reading style, if you are interested in a personal reading with me for yourself or as a gift for someone else, please feel free to email me directly at maggie1maguire@gmail.com. You can see that contact info by clicking the description with this video. I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the June general readings. Stay safe, stay well, be happy, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.